One of the first things that we do when we go into an organisation is we want to do a quick traffic light score. Or when we go into a sports team, what we want to do is a really quick traffic light score. Now, we want to look at our 12 accelerators around here, and we want to actually determine how are we going in it. We want to look at these three major pillars to determine how strong are we. So my question to you is, right now, rate the leadership in your organisation. Green, so let me give you a bit of an indication of how we actually do this. The traffic light system is pretty cool. Basically, green means the team are clear, engaged, energized, they're self-reliant, they're holding each other accountable, the structure and process is working to increase performance, you're making progress, you're seeking, not seeking perfection, but making really great progress. This is when there's flow. Now, orange is where we understand the importance of it. We've tried some things, but we've not really got great results. It's slow and difficult. The teams may be ambivalent, there's no follow through, or we feel like we're dragging others along. So I guess the word that describes this is resistance. Now, if it's red, nothing's in place, we're maybe not even aware of its importance. So we've no idea how to deal with the symptoms, so in a business, it could be low sales or high staff turnover. It could be conflict and frustration. And this is basically not prioritized at all. So let's have a quick look at these areas. Leadership. Where are you in leadership? Do you feel like you're green? Are your leaders completely clear? Are they supported and energized? Do they have the commitment and engagement of your team? Or do they really struggle to get people along for the ride? Or is it red? Do we just have leaders who are not in the right position, have no support, and just don't know what to do about their team? Where are we at with that? What are we best at in our leadership? Or what do we need to do better? So let's look at our culture. Now, every organization has a culture. Whether you like it or not, you've got a culture. But have you determined the culture which is going to get you the best performance? So let's think about your culture. Let's rate it. Green, our culture is exciting, it's vibrant, it attracts people who want to be attracted to that culture, and you've got great people working in your organization within that culture. They keep each other accountable, they communicate really well, they've got rituals and they have processes, and you've got no blame, no drama, no excuses. That's a total green light. Orange, okay, you've got a good culture heading in the right direction, or you know what you need to do and you're building on it, because culture does take a little while to shift. Or red, we haven't thought about culture at all. We've just got whatever we've got. We've got some frustrating people in our team. In fact, I think we've got the wrong people on our team. Is the culture helping you do that? So where are we at with culture? Green, orange, or red? Now, capabilities. This is the one that most people tend to focus on when they're recruiting. They go for skilled players. Now, on the field, they look for the highest skilled players, and that's very important, that their skills are good. But some of the best players in history haven't had the highest skills. They've been the best leaders. So in your organization, how are you with the capabilities? Green, absolutely got the best people you can afford. Orange, yeah, we've got some great people and some ordinary people. Or red, boy, we need to clear out of the sheds. Where are you at with your capabilities? Now, we do this exact same process as we go around. And let me give you an indication. So we start at each of these accelerators. So what I want you to do is a quick traffic light score. So we'll have a look at this. Clarity, vision, mission, and values. How clear are your people on what you're building and your mission, and specifically what the values are? So to be really specific about that, if I went and asked anyone in your team, they would be able to clearly tell me what the big picture is, what their contribution is, what their mission is, and what the top 3 or 4 values are. So do you have that in your team? You know what? Unfortunately, a lot of people would say, well, that's an orange for me. That's not green. We've got a ways to go with that. So let's look at that. Okay, buy-in. Now, buy-in is where you've shared your vision with the team and you've included them in the goals. They've made a contribution to it. Now, you might say, "Oh, no, that's definitely not us." So that's a red, right? That's definitely a red on the traffic light scores. Okay, let's look at some other elements. Are we having fun? Are we dealing with failure? Are we getting good feedback? You know what? You might say, yeah, actually, we do pretty good with that. I'd say we're green. We're on track for green. Managing behavior, you know what? That's something that is often an orange for a lot of people because it's something that they haven't really thought about. So we go around the circle and we might say, okay, our communication is okay. Not great, but okay, let's call that an orange. Okay, our accountability, you know what, we're really not good on the accountability. Let's call that a red. But you know what, we've actually got some rituals in place. So let's call it a green for the moment, right? We don't need to know too much more about that. And let's say, okay, yep, we've got a lot of blame. We've got a lot of excuses, we've got a lot of drama. Okay, that's a bit of an orange. Okay, benchmarking. We actually know exactly what our sales figures are. We know what the industry's benchmark is. We know what our profitability is, and we're pretty well on track to achieve that. That's definitely a green. Okay, mental strength and conditioning. You know what, in a sports team, this is often the last thing to be considered because people focus purely on skills development. So a lot of people will go, you know what, we don't have anything in place to make sure that our mental strength and conditioning is good. And in fact, our self-assessment's not really good either because we actually leave that up to our leaders to do the assessments. If you're in a work organisation, you might say that's our annual review, but that's not really making our team independent and growing their skills. Most organisations have done a pretty good job of getting the right people with the right skills. So when we look around the model, we can very, very clearly see the areas of the business that are working really well and the areas of the business that really aren't working well. And we can also see the areas that are making progress but probably not getting there as fast as we can. So the traffic light score gives us a very, very clear indication of what to work on next. Now, if you've been going through this and thinking about that in terms of your organisation, where are your red lights? Where are your orange lights? And where are your green lights? And which of these are you going to work on in the next 90 days? It's really important that you identify those and then begin making progress towards them.